Hi everyone, welcome to a restart of my Soulful Repair Intuitive Tarot series. So I hope that you enjoy this timeless message. What I wanted to put out, and I felt called to put out this message today, it's really for people over a certain age, let's just say over 40, but probably a little bit further on than that, who are negotiating the dating world these days in particularly traumatic times. But let's see where this goes. I'm going to just be doing this free flow, and what I wanted to ask Spirit here, any general messages for people dealing with dating right now, trying to find love, especially if you're a little bit more experienced. Let's just say that you've already been through possibly a marriage, you've already been through a number of relationships, and now where does this go? Please, Spirit, help us be guided through this very difficult challenge here of finding love, Spirit guides. Let's take a look. Messages here. Okay, we've got a card of release. So Spirit here is giving me a message that it's about releasing any build-up of tension in the body, because I'm getting this energy that when we approach love, when we approach new love, after a period of having very difficult relationships, some of us have been dealing with narcissistic partners, abusive partners, cheating partners, the list goes on and on. So there's a lot of build-up. There's a lot of stuff that we've built up as a result of dealing with those very trying circumstances. And I'm feeling this as this energy of the need to release. Now, I'm going to get a masculine energy as well, because I feel that this is about finding the balance here. This is how to approach. Before you even try, Spirit Guide is saying, before you even try, this is what needs to be done here. I'm going to take the two of those. Okay, we've got Hermes, card of communication, and we also have the card of Set, chaos. Okay, yeah, well, that's the energy. This Set energy. This, if anyone knows the legend, most of you probably do, but it is the story of a chaotic male energy that actually dismembers. I don't want to get too, it's a bit of a grisly story, but I'm going to just kind of gloss over that a little bit, and let's just say he causes a chaotic disturbance in man. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing here, chaotic disturbance around the masculine, meaning the masculine is I'm getting this very scattered energy. Now this is in general, guys, I'm not talking about one male in particular. It's the masculine energy in the world. It's chaotic. And I feel that it's creating a lot of the chaos in the world. Is this, I'm getting it as a fractured sense of self, guys. So this is what you're dealing with before you even jump in. Doesn't matter who you're interested in here, whatever the gender. Anyone approaching this more masculine energy is going to be coming up against very fractured energy. Now, Hermes is interesting because that's a very playful kind of energy. It's a card which speaks of communication, but in this case, I'm actually feeling it as misdirected communication with this energy of chaos. Meaning, masculine energy is having difficulty communicating how they feel, communicating how they are dealing with the world right now. They're finding it very difficult, more so than the feminine. The feminine is coming up as the stronger energy here because the feminine is able to release in a healthy way a build-up of tension. The masculine is not. They don't have an outlet, Spirit Guide is saying. The masculine does not have an outlet. The feminine does. Okay, and the outlet is how they communicate to the world. So the masculine bottles it up, holds it all in, doesn't release it. And that's what's causing this very fractured, chaotic energy within themselves. And the feminine here is releasing all of that in a healthy way by putting it out, communicating it to whoever, whoever's a friendly ear. It doesn't have to be to a therapist or anything like that. It could be to a friend, a family member, the dog. It doesn't matter. The feminine is getting it out. The masculine isn't. And that's creating this very, it feels like, if you think of traditional male stereotypes, or archetypes, I should say, they were breadwinners. They were the people who went out and got the job and provided for the family. They were warriors even. And they went out and did all of these very heroic kind of things. I'm getting that word hero. So how does a man be a hero these days? They seem to be a little bit lost in that regard. They've lost their way. They don't have an outlet for this energy. Okay, that's really, really interesting that Spirit is giving me that chaos. This can be good energy for the masculine because I feel like it feels like a tower moment for the masculine in general. Meaning that the old way of being, the old belief about themselves needs to fall away so that something else can be built up. But it's something better than what was. So it's not that the masculine should go back to how things were, but they do need to rebuild themselves. It's kind of like the $6 million man. Spirit's giving me the $6 million man here as the image in my mind. We can rebuild him. Yeah. The masculine needs to rebuild themselves is what I'm getting. Set was the dark brother of Osiris, whom he killed and dismembered in jealousy, in rage, and he was regarded as barren, just like the desert. So there's an energy of a lack of abundance here. It feels like the masculine these days is in this poverty kind of mindset. They're finding it hard to see fertile times. They're hard to see. They even see themselves as lacking in some regard. And this is causing some masculine energies to rage. I'm getting a lot of rage around this card. Now, I also get this. It's an energy of victim mindset as well. There's an energy around doing bad things and feeling justified in it because they feel victimized. This is not every masculine, but this is the general feeling that I'm getting around this, guys. Yeah, feeling victimized. Now, they seem to be putting out a lot of this rage towards what they feel is the aggressor here, and it seems like what they feel is the aggressor is as the feminine energy releasing this build-up of stuff that has been built up over many years. Goodness. Is it any wonder we're finding it hard, ladies? Look what... I don't even... We'll see where this goes, guys, but this is very high vibrational energy that I'm picking up around this. So Set, he created chaos everywhere he went. He was a force to be reckoned with, of course, very destructive. But he can also use this energy to, as I said, rather than destroy, to rebuild. And I feel that that's what the energy needs to go towards. But at the moment I'm getting an energy of the masculine feeling like they need to just kind of run amok. Now this is particularly the masculine at a certain age, guys. I'm not talking about the younger guys here or the younger masculine energy. This is the older masculine energy. Most likely 45 plus is what I'm getting around this card. Yeah. It's chaos, but it's necessary chaos. It's something that is part of life here. It's change. Sometimes things do need to fall apart so that they can reform. But when they're in this chaos here, mentally, physically, spiritually, everything seems off, hopeless, very confusing. But they're in a place of transition. Now, at this point in time, they have choices. They can either continue to create chaos, feel like they're a victim and can't escape it and just kind of blow everything up, or they can choose to rebuild themselves. It's a path that they get to choose. Now, if they choose the path of chaos, it's an energy here of feeling like they can't escape. But it's very stressful, of course. It creates a lot of stress. But even that energy they'll eventually get out of, but it will take longer than if they have more self-awareness. The masculine needs more self-awareness of why they're going through this transition. I'm also getting this yin-yang energy around this as well. Like the masculine taking a lot of aggressive action towards the feminine as an outlet, which is very troubling. It can come across as abusive in some cases. Now, a lot of this Spirit Guide has given me goes on behind the scenes. Okay, so it's not... Okay, Spirit Guide is telling me that a lot of this goes on towards the feminine in groups of the masculine behind the feminine's back. Okay, I also get that this goes on behind closed doors, like for instance, say a couple. Yeah, it's a darker kind of energy. It's very much a Five of Swords energy that I'm getting around this. That win at any cost. The willingness to destroy just for the sake of winning. Just for the sake of being on top. Just for the sake of saying I'm better than the feminine. Wow, guys, yeah. A bit troubling there, but let's continue on. I was not expecting to get all of that energy. Now let's see the connecting energy between the masculine and the feminine. Let's take a look here. The connecting energy between the masculine and the feminine. Another couple of cards. Let's take a look. We have the mermaid and the turtle. Okay. Again, I feel that this is feminine and masculine energy. The turtle, the feminine is already there. I feel like the feminine, when it comes to progression, and I'm not trying to be, this is not about bias because I'm a woman here. This is not about that, guys. I'm just reading the cards. It's telling me that the masculine has a long way to go to catch up, but you see this turtle hatching out of his shell? At least he's starting the process. And we also have Once Upon a Midnight Jury. Now this is about creativity, expression, and artistic flow. And I'm feeling this is that Hermes energy again. The feminine energy puts it out there in some way. Now it could be journaling. It could be actually like a podcast. So some kind of creative way, creative expression of how to communicate their feelings, because we're all going through changes as we get older. The feminine has more of an outlet. That's what this is telling me. The masculine needs more of an outlet. Now the masculine can have the same outlet as the feminine. This is not a gender bias thing. But for some reason the masculine feels or has felt like they need to bottle it all up, that they need to be this, show that strong warrior energy, that they can't show a soft underbelly. They have to, I get an energy of retreat actually. The masculine, when they feel down, depressed, worried, stressed, will retreat into their shell rather than express. And sometimes they will retreat from the feminine because they don't want to talk. They will go into their man cave. They'll go off to somewhere that feels neutral to them or with other masculine energies. More often though, I feel like it's alone. And that is their outlet, but it doesn't seem like a very healthy kind of outlet. Spirit Guide is saying that the masculine needs to be more creative in how they deal with aging, how they deal with all of that entails, like health issues, a changing body image, change in roles, change in finances. You know, a lot of older men have been through divorce. They've lost some money there. Some men here have lost their jobs. Yeah, there needs to be a creative outlet for the masculine to get it out there. But what they shouldn't be doing is projecting all of this out in a very negative way towards the feminine. Now, a lot of them recognize some of them recognize that they are doing that, and that's when they will retreat. The feminine may make the mistake of trying to approach the masculine during that time. Spirit Guide is saying that the feminine shouldn't do this, that we should leave them alone. Let them sort it out. So the feminine energy is a very nurturing energy here. It's an energy that is a healing energy towards the masculine. But in this case, Spirit Guide is saying the best way that the feminine can heal the masculine is by allowing them the space to step back to heal themselves. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. I'm going to pull a card from the Lantern Oracle regarding what we need to know about dating at a certain age. So let's have a look. Message from Spirit, and then I'm going to throw down some tarot, guys. If you're interested in a extended read of this, I will be offering one. So the link for that will be down below at the end of this reading. Feel free to check that out. I'll be pulling out a lot more cards then. But let's take a look here, guys. I want to talk a little bit more here on YouTube. Okay, we have radical self-love and radical honesty. We can only receive love to the extent that we unconditionally love and live the truth of ourselves. So it's about loving who we are at an older age. You'll see this older lady here. It's about looking in the mirror, seeing the changes and being okay with the changes. A lot of us are fighting that, you know. We look at the mirror and we don't like what we see. We don't even recognize ourselves sometimes. There's a real need to be honest. To be honest with ourselves. But that doesn't mean that we have to... If there's something... Okay, Spirit Guide is giving me this. If we look in the mirror, if we don't like what we see and we just say, okay, well, it's over. It's an energy here of self-defeat. If we look at this is about body image, guys, Spirit is saying, if we look at our bodies, the changing bodies, we don't like what we see, and if we're defeated by that, then we tend to go into, I get a feeling here of hopelessness, despairing and loss. It's almost like a grieving process, if you will. Feeling this sense of, I'm getting that fractured energy again. But this is not just the masculine energy, this is both. This is for masculine and feminine. It's looking in the mirror and seeing the parts of ourselves that are changing. And rather than seeing that as a natural process, one that's happening to both, one of the energies may be seeing themselves as not as beautiful or not as handsome as the other. A comparison kind of energy around this. And feeling defeated by that, feeling like, oh, they're not going to be interested in me, my hair is greying, and that person is still has a really looks younger, that kind of energy. It's really about looking in the mirror, yes, being honest with yourself, but not seeing it as something that is wrong or negative about oneself. Because if we do that, then we tend to retreat. Again, I get distance, a denial of one's self, a denial of desire, denying oneself love and passion. No, this is about recognizing, okay, sure, I may not look like I'm 20, but I still deserve love. I still deserve passion in my life. And whatever way that comes out. It starts, Spirit Guide is saying it starts, especially for the masculine, of finding that passionate outlet, something that they feel good about. It's like when they were younger, they had that passion for life, they wanted to go out and conquer the world. They need to find that again, but in a different kind of way. And it's not too late to do things. It's not too late to go and experience things that perhaps they didn't get to do when they were younger. No, this is about living a full life, is what I'm getting from Spirit. But it starts with loving who you are now, being honest and real about who you are now, but loving yourself anyway. And sure, you can make changes if you really feel like you need to. There's nothing wrong with that either. But it starts with that absolute acceptance of the process. You know, you can't deny the process. It catches up with us all. So there's a feeling here of fighting. I get fighting against aging, fighting against something that happens as a natural part of life. So what I'm getting here, guys, is that for the masculine, it's about going through a period of turmoil with an energy of denying rather than acceptance. And this is creating this kind of chaos. Now, when chaos ensues, upheaval, it creates disturbance, yes, but it's temporary and it's necessary. And it is going to have benefit, but the masculine is not seeing it that way. It's about a changing way of living, a changing way of looking, a change in itself. So the masculine here is about needing to release an old way of seeing themselves, an old way of being, an old way of living. Releasing that old armor there, having it fall away, feeling vulnerable as a result. There's a lot of vulnerability that I see here, which doesn't sit well with a masculine energy. It's almost like parts of self. You know, we had that set card where there was that dismemberment. It tells me that parts of the self are being broken away, fractured, if you will, and they need to, it's like the tower moment needs to come back and it needs to reset. So the masculine energy at this age is resetting, and it's causing chaos and disturbance. And this is what the feminine finds when they begin to date a person in this age group. It's a masculine who is releasing a lot of who they used to be. A lot of the ego is falling away around the masculine as well. Yeah, so let's see where this goes, guys. I'm going to put down some tarot. And as I said, I will be offering an extended. So if you're interested in more, I will be putting down some more oracles during that. Let's start with, I'm going to be doing dual tarot here. I'm going to start with a higher vibrational energy and then put down the energy that it is manifesting here on the physical plane. So let's start with the message. Message for the collective, everyone who is dealing in the dating world, especially with people who are going through a lot of change. Most likely, probably above, I would say above 45 these days, guys. So let's take a look. I'm going to put down the cards here, do a Celtic cross. And let's take a look at the clarifiers here. Okay, let's take a look. All right. Okay, let's take a look. We have the Mother of Water here, the Queen of Cups, and the Six of Cups. Interesting. So we're talking about mother here. This is family and motherhood and fond remembrances of the feminine. This is about looking, especially for men of a certain age, that they remember mother being a different person to what the type of feminine that they're encountering these days. I'm not putting the older feminine down at all, no. Just different times. There's very strong energy around the feminine in the past, always putting the masculine first, the masculine's needs, spoiling the masculine. And these days that doesn't happen. Why? Because the feminine has to go out and work. They're often the ones that are solely responsible. They're taking on a lot more of the masculine energy. And this has created a disconnect in the masculine's view of the feminine as a whole, is what I'm getting. Now, the feminine still has all of the old abilities of the feminine. There's nothing there that's really been lost. There's still the nurturing. They're still able to show unconditional love and support to the masculine. So the masculine really needs to see the feminine as not less than they were in the past, but actually more than. Because this kind of energy here actually is supportive of the masculine, even more so than it was in the past. But the masculine is not seeing it that way. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. We have the Ace of Fire. We also have the Devil. Yeah, well, goodness, it's like that Madonna, you-know-what complex here. I can't say the word here on YouTube, but you guys know what I mean. How they see a woman that is very vibrant in her sexuality, more in her masculine, a woman who takes the reins. There's a desire for that woman. Absolutely. But how does that match up with their vision of the ultimate woman of their mother in the past? My goodness, we're really going deep into mummy issues here, aren't we, guys? Yeah, goodness. All right. So there seems to be this, disconnect between sexuality and women's sexuality in particular, and seeing women as a mother, as a person who is able to give birth to oh gosh, and it's more of an old-fashioned type of thing. I don't think we're talking about younger masculine energies here. I feel like the younger masculine doesn't have this. The older masculine does. Elvis Presley comes to mind. Elvis, for instance, was no longer physically attracted to women who had given birth. So there's this disconnect between women who are mothers, women who are very nurturing and caring and seeing that as the divine feminine, and this more overt sexuality that women have now, but also desiring this very, very much. Okay, so let's see what else we have here, guys. We've got we've got the card of Judgment, and we also have the Five of Cups in the reverse. Gosh. Wow. Masculine's judgment. For instance, if you're out on a date with someone of this age group, the image that I'm getting in my mind here is one of being judged. Are you fall into this of the mother, of the kind person, the non-confrontational? This is safe. This is the female as safe. This female is not scary. It's not intimidating. It's the grandmother, kindly, older woman, but it's devoid of sexuality, guys. But that's not the reality in this day and age. Women of a certain age still are very vibrant and still are sexual, and we still want all of those things. We even look younger than people of an older generation. So there's an energy around judging and needing to judge things in a different way. Needing to see women as both of these things, not either or. There definitely needs to be a moving on from the past here and how women were judged in the past by this particular age group of masculine. Now let's see. We've got the Mother of Earth here, the Queen of Pentacles, more mother energy, and the Chariot in the reverse. Goodness, yes. It's a very, the Chariot is that sense of fractured energy. The masculine is very confused here by the feminine. You know, oftentimes when we're dating at an older age, I feel for the majority of us, we're not looking to start a family, so we're not looking to have traditional kind of roles of mother and father. We've been there, we've done that, most of us have already experienced it, right? Or else we don't want to experience it. We're of a certain age, we've made a decision not to go down that road. And so there is a change here in what is important. And I'm getting an energy of, it's not so much important of having a breadwinner, having someone there to support us as feminine energy. It's more wanting love, wanting true love, wanting companionship. So we don't have the same needs as we had in the past of having someone who is the breadwinner for us. And so we are maybe a little bit more judgmental. I guess we are. The masculine seems to think we are, guys. The masculine feels the feminine is perhaps a little bit too judgmental here. Because we're not willing to accept what our mothers and grandmothers accepted in the past. Yeah, okay, so there's that fractured energy again. And how the masculine looks at the feminine. There needs to be a readjustment here where these two energies meet. Okay, let's see. Past energy, we've got High Priestess and the Page of Wands in the reverse. This is holding up the sensual feminine, but separate from the more traditional role of seeing mother, seeing and identifying someone who is safe. This feels like danger to me. The energy of the dangerous woman, the femme fatale. Someone who's very in tune with their sensuality. Someone who isn't afraid to express their needs. Who doesn't just kind of lie there and think of England. That kind of energy. Yeah, so there's a little bit of confusion here around the masculine in dealing with women who are more evolved in a sexual way. You know, a lot of them are coming out of marriages that were perhaps where there was no more passion. There may not have been passion for many years, and they don't know how to connect with this more vibrant energy of the feminine. And this more sensually vibrant energy is also keeping the feminine more youthful spirited, even youthful looking. And of course, as women, we tend to have more things at our disposal that keep us looking young. Cosmetics, hair dye, we tend to be more focused on that as well in terms of our appearance. So there's all that going on here in seeing all of these very beautiful women, but not really knowing how to approach them, not seeing them as out of their league. There's a sense here of intimidation that I'm getting around this, and maybe even some anger and resentment towards this feminine for being more involved. Perhaps even some anger at being able to still be sexual at a certain age. Some of these men may have issues in that regard. Let's have a look. We've got the Nine of Air and the Lovers in reverse. Yeah, so it feels to me like issues involving a lot of, it feels to me like a very, gosh, okay. A change in what security looks like. A change in, change in itself, Spirit Guide is saying. Change at an older age is harder. People put down roots, people have these very set ideas, and it's hard to change. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, is what they're giving me. And there can be a lot of incompatibilities as a result. It's almost like the feminine is being kind of led towards needing to find younger men. I think that the feminine doesn't want to do that. The feminine energy here is wanting someone of their own age, or maybe even older. But there seems to be some strong incompatibilities with how both are seeing their futures. The feminine, I feel, is very vibrant, optimistic, healing. The masculine seems to be very stagnated, very entrenched, not wanting to change, not seeing that they need to change. We've got the Six of Water here, okay, and we also have the King of Pentacles in the reverse. A lot of the masculine is also reaching a stage in their life where they are really focused on looking at their past, what they wanted when they were younger, where they are now. A lot of them are disappointed with their lot in life. They may feel some kind of restriction that they have, that they're not going to, like when you're younger, there's a feeling here of I want to be the CEO of my own company, or I want to be a singer in a rock band, a successful rock band. I want to write this bestseller. And then one day they wake up, they're 50, 60 years old, and they realize that, that's not going to happen. And there's a lot of feeling of unsuccessful. Yeah, when it comes to especially when it comes to business, their career. Some of them may even feel like they don't have enough money at this stage in life. Again, some of them have come out from divorces where they've lost money. So there's an energy here of feeling like things were better in the past. Now, we've got the Seven of Air here and the Ace of Swords in the reverse. There's a lot of running away from problems, creating these chaotic moments and then saying, oh, I didn't do it, running away from it. So it feels to me like the masculine at this stage in their life set these fires, and then they deny responsibility for setting the fires. So they're responsible for their own status. They're responsible for their own decisions in the past. But there seems to be a lack of accountability, a lack of ownership of their own choices, their own decisions. And I get this blame-shifting energy around them. Now we have the Five of Swords here and the Four of Cups. Yeah, self-defeating energy. And I did get that before, didn't I, with, where is that card? That self-defeating energy. Radical honesty. To believe in the facade is to suffocate in the armour of alienation, self-defeat, and self-denial. So denying that where they are in life is as a result of their own choices, their own decision-making, is what I'm getting. Not looking in the mirror and seeing themselves in all of their truth here. There's a denial here. A head in the sand kind of energy. And they don't want to be that way, by the way. I'm getting a strong energy they don't want to be that way. But yet all of their fear is that they can't change. The fear is that they'll just continue down this road of self-destructive tendencies. Yeah, at this stage in life, they seem to be more self-destructive than they are building up. You know, in their younger years, they're building, and then there's a lot of destruction that happens. Now, they can either completely destroy it, and some of them, unfortunately, find themselves hitting that rock bottom and not finding the way back up, but the majority of them will hopefully recognize these self-destructive tendencies here, the tendencies that they are destroying their own life here, and turn it around. Okay. Now we have the Crone of Air, King of Swords, and the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, well, that's exactly what I just said, actually. The masculine needs to look at the truth here, look at themselves, really look, and make changes. Because they're in control. They're in control of their own destiny as men here, as masculine energies. That's what I'm getting, guys. You know, that energy of radical honesty is really calling to me. You know, it's not a failure, it's not a flaw to experience disappointments, confusion, being unsuccessful. It's being human, and feminine and masculine energies have to deal with these. But the way that they deal with disappointments, betrayals, confusion differs. Feminine energies have a way to express, to get it out, which helps them learn and grow from their mistakes and from other people's mistakes as well, and learn from the experience, to see it as experience, to be transparent about it. The masculine tends to cover up, deny, wish that their life had gone a different way, see themselves as hopeless, not being able to get out of a situation. But the energy around this is one of not denying reality, not denying the stage of life and all its uncomfortableness. You know, it's not okay to ignore what creates unease, what creates this feeling of, I get it as stagnancy. There's a real need here to kind of wake up and make changes. This tower of energy is one of someone who has completely destroyed their life, even destructive tendencies here, and then to come back together and rebuild stronger. Yeah. And a lot of it has to do with the releasing emotions in a controlled way. And this is what we're talking about here when we talk about the need to get it out, the need to be vulnerable and to get out these feelings. If a masculine doesn't want to show themselves as vulnerable, in a vulnerable position, then they tend to hide away from others and to hide away from people that they love, even. So that's what we're dealing with here, ladies of a certain age. You know, it feels very much like fragmented masculine energy, and the feminine here, just by showing the masculine these two sides of ourselves, that we're not our mothers, that we're not our grandmothers here, that we have this very vibrant sexual side, it can be intimidating to a fractured masculine energy. But we can't change that. We have to continue to be that way, because it's by being that way that will eventually bring in this change. How did Osiris become whole again? By the feminine, putting them back together. But it's not the feminine doing that overtly. I feel it's more about the feminine by going through this change themselves, showing themselves in a way which they're able to get the emotion out, feel the emotion, learn from their life, all of the good things, the bad things that have happened, warts and all. By putting all of that out there and being very transparent and showing themselves as getting on with life, still having a vibrant life, by doing that, that seems to bring about this more healing energy. But I do get a strong energy that the masculine needs to do that for themselves. So it's not about someone coming in and mothering or smothering the masculine, no. It's just allowing the masculine to catch up to the feminine energy. Once the masculine does come to that place of accepting this change in themselves, where they're no longer denying it, if they see themselves as capable of moving forward with life and that this isn't the end for them, if they see this as just a necessary change, a necessary breaking down of what was, so that they can build themselves up into something new, different, changed, but something that is stronger. You know, it's not about destruction for destruction's sake here and just giving up. No, it's destruction in order to rebuild stronger, wiser, having learned from the mistakes in the past and still be able to get up and move on and realize that we're in control of our own destiny here. It's not about blaming others. It's all about owning up to things that didn't work in the past and saying, okay, I've learned from that, and being able to get up there and say, okay, well, you know what, maybe I did mess up in the past, but I'm able to move on. And that's the masculine energy that I'm feeling. Rather than seeing themselves as their life is over, or that the lot that they've been given in life and that things can't change. Things can change, but it's going to be up to them to own it, own themselves, be truthful about what has and hasn't worked in their life, and be able to instigate the change for themselves. So ladies, let's continue this in the extended reading. If you're enjoying this reading, please do join me there. The link is down below in the descriptions box. And I'll be going a lot more in depth. It'll probably be about another 45 to an hour reading. If you'd like a personal reading, you can email me, gypsyinsights@gmail.com. Please like, share and subscribe. I'd love to have you if you're a newcomer. If you're a regular watcher, please consider joining my band of gypsies to get early access to the readings. And you can find that link in the box below, or click on the join button for more information. You can also, there are ways to support my channel there as well. Wishing you the best with this, guys. Please do take care, and thanks again for watching.